Welcome to Glass Painting 101. This is video number 4. We are going to explore a different brand of paint and a different type of glass paint. This is Vitria 160 made by Pebeo. I'm going to use a light blue and a turquoise, and I'm just going to create some dots because I want you to get an understanding of how translucent paint works. Opaque solid paints, whereas the translucent you can see through. And to give you an idea, I'm just going to use this little clear, well, dirty clear, but plastic lid. We're just going to create some dots. We're going to make it look like bubbles are going up. And what you can do is, you could use the back end of a paintbrush. It's just a little big, I think, for what we're doing. Based on the size of the objects. If I want to have bubbles coming up, I don't want them to be huge, just because I don't think it would look realistic. It's not going to look super realistic either, but it looks very pretty. So that's about the size we're working with. And if I grab the light blue after dropping the darker blue, it's going to actually be a little bit lighter. I have not cleaned it, so I still have some of that darker color on it, and you could see the more I go outward, the more those dots are going to get smaller and smaller and smaller, and that's what you want. But that's how you get smaller and smaller dots. There's no magic to it. You just have to decide what colors you want to use and put your placement. Do you want them straight? Do you want them to zigzag? I think bubbles in nature zigzag a little bit. The nice thing about these Pebeos, I don't have to go back and put a coat of clear on top of the Pebeo. It's a really good paint. It's going to be more expensive than folk art, but it is a really good paint. And if you hold it up to the light, you can get a sense of the color that you're actually going to see when you paint it on the glass. To get it to be darker, though, you have to put more than one coat, and that means letting it dry fully in between so that you're not pulling it back off the glass in between. So we're going to take this little dot tool, and we're just going to use it to make a few dots so that it looks like bubbles are coming up from the starfish. I'm not using a huge amount, and basically I'm just going to put one here, a third one, and I'm going to stop there and come back with a lighter blue. And I'm just getting a little bit of the lighter blue on there. And I'm just going to kind of go left and right, left and right, left and right, left and right. And it kind of looks like bubbles. I'll wipe it off. And if I don't wipe it off, what was left on this picks up even more. My next set of bubbles are going to be a much different size than the first set, and I really don't want that. So again, not a lot on there. I'm going to drop, drop. Because I'm closer to the top of the glass, I'm going to wipe a tiny bit of that off. I still have a little bit of blue on there. If you pick up any lint, make sure you wipe that off. I'm going to go back in here and just get a little bit of that blue, not a lot. I'll go next. Because there was a big difference in the color, I'm going back and forth just to add some darker blue to the lighter blue. And if I want to make it a little bigger, I can just tap, 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 and there it is. And so now we've added a couple of bubbles. I think things, to me, art, I always like to do things in threes, and it's just a personal preference. It just feels better when there's 3 of something. So 3 things of bubbles coming up in this area, to me, feels better than if I had, say, 4 or an even number. Okay. From a design standpoint, you might at that point say, you know what, not just the bubbles, I'd kind of like to have something going around my glass that has a little bit of those colors. It's just a design element. So I'm going to switch size on this thing, and I'm going to go to the really tiny one, and I'm going to make sure I've got plenty on him, right? And then I'm just going to drop a random bit of this color. I'm not doing anything specific. I'm just kind of randomly dropping these. If I need to, I can go back and get more. And again, this is just a personal choice. I don't have to do this at all. But now that I've done some, as I go around this class and show you all the things that you can do, I will do more of them in order to have it everywhere and make it an intentional part of the pattern. The nice thing about this is that if you do these little drops, you could do them as raindrops. They could give you a sense of crystal. And I'm going to do a couple in clear. The clear is clear when it dries. It's milky white when it goes on. All right, that's clear medium from Folk Art. It's nice and thick. It's going to hold up to just drying in place. So if I do a couple of these, they're going to actually be raised dots that are completely see-through. But they will pick the colors up in the room. So what happens is this glass is sitting there on the dining table, and it's next to a set of plates that are maybe in a wood color, or maybe it's next to some items that have a really dark navy blue. These clear dots are going to reflect that navy blue color a tiny bit. It's just going to refract it. So right now they just look milky, but they won't be when we're done. You'll see them in the next video. So that's just real simple, easy way to add a little bit of translucence. And I'll take a picture of this when it dries so you could see the see-through aspect of these glass paints and remind me of the stained glass paints. The next thing that we're going to paint is stamps. So I know most people are used to taking stamps and you put it in the ink and you press it down on a card. I'm going to show you how to use stamps on glass, what the pros and cons are of it. We will work our way around, and I think we'll do a little bit of, because this is all ocean theme, we'll do a little bit of sea, maybe some plants that are under the sea or something along those lines. And we will stamp it, and then we'll add a little bit of paint to accent it with some color, and you'll get an idea of how you can do that. It's an interesting technique, but it's another way that someone who has no art skill per se can make something absolutely beautiful painting on glass. So hopefully you'll join me. That will be video number 5. I hope you have a wonderful day.